Hey everyone, just wanted to make a quick little video showing you how you could use the VCMM in certain types of diagnostic scenarios. So here we have my personal vehicle hooked up and we're looking at our network wiring. I've just jumped into this. It's already all been pre-configured and played with. I think it's probably best to discuss this kind of stuff, how to set up your channels and everything like that in the lab, because that way you can actually play with it and see it. But I'm showing you here, this is my own personal vehicle. Now if you remember, if you watch my other video, we have the VCMM is technically a 5-channel scope. So this is just running off of the DLC connector, and we're looking at one side of your high-speed network. I believe this is HS positive, because it's going from 0 to 2. If it was the other way around, it would be upside down, it'd be inverted, right? So just sort of an example of how you can see, or how you could use the VCMM. If we had a network problem, you'd be able to look at this pattern and identify anything that was wrong. Now it's really quick, remember it's network wiring, so it runs really fast. It's not a great pattern. You can take snapshots, and Ford does have a printout or a PDF, I should say. Actually, it's in the workshop manual, now that I think of it, of what the different network faults look like. So right here, just starting with, we'll just look at this pattern real quick. You can see we have the start of a message over here, and then, I don't know if you can kind of see that block. We have a block of messages here, and then it ends roughly around there. It looks like. So that is one message. We're looking at one message there. And in there, what you could do is you could take a snapshot of that. You can see it pause the screen there. Let's get paint up on the screen. This is my one problem with VCMM and the oscilloscope software is that, and I gotta search for actual paint because we don't have paint, is that they don't offer a screen. That's not how you spell paint. Oh, and it's in that weird FN mode. Paint. There we go. All right. Is that they don't offer a nice... Oh, that's not a great pattern either. Let's try again. Oh, no, cancel. Hold on. Let's try grabbing another one here. I should probably change my trigger. Let's see, did I get a better one? That's a better one. Okay, so you can see, here we go. We've got our first block of messaging. That's probably like a little space between messages. We have our start of our messaging, all the messages, and then the end, and another message happens under here. So what you could do is you could grab a snapshot of your network, and if you had a problem, this would be how you would diagnose it, right? So you go to Ford's to WSM, you'd pull up all of the list of different network faults and what those look like, and you would compare your pattern against the WSM. Like I said, we don't have to go too deep into how you set this up, because I'd rather you play with it in the lab. This is just sort of a little demo of one of the uses of the VCMM. I will say though, that in order, I'll point out the two sort of more obvious ones. The first one is our time base down here. So what this means, this time base, is how much time is happening between each block of, between each grid in here, let's say. So this block of data is showing 50, I think that's microseconds, so 50 microseconds per division. If you change that time base, let's say we make it something really long. Now this is where you gotta have to remember what you're working on, right? Network wiring is really, really fast, right? So 100 milliseconds per division gives us a signal that we can't use. We don't know, we can't see anything here because we have too much going on in that division. We have too much data. So this signal it's almost like we've zoomed out and we're looking at the network as a whole. This isn't useful for diagnosis. I imagine maybe if it was flatlined, right, or it was all high, or if it looked, this looks kind of uniform. Again, you can't do much diagnosis, but it's kind of uniform. If there was something super obvious, then you'd be able to diagnose from this far out. But really, for something like network wiring, you want to get in nice and close. You can go down even further and get the pattern a bit higher, right? So that's what's happening there. That's how that works. That's per division is how much time. So that's 20, pretty sure it's microseconds, I might be wrong. in 20 microseconds, we're getting like one sort of bit or one byte or whatever of data. Whatever that is, we're getting one little shot in there per division. Now, you can also change your voltage scale. I have it set to 1 volt. Again, we're dealing with network wiring, so 2.5 volts is what we'd want to be seeing. If you go to 10, you can see again, as much as like when we moved our time base out too far, if we go to 10 volts, we lose a lot of that resolution. We can't really see what is going on here. Let's bump out to 50. Let's bump out to 100 actually. Let's go back out to 100. So there's our little packets of messages working their way through. So you can see we've lost a lot of the resolution. So you'd have to, when you're setting up an oscilloscope or dealing with an oscilloscope, you have to remember what you're working on, what you want to see, what kind of resolution. And it's not, you can play with it, right? You have the ability to go in and closer, to go out closer. It's not like you set once and then that's it. Away you go. Now you can see I moved my voltage and I have lost my trigger. So now it's just showing us whatever it can grab whenever it happens to see it. So you go back into trigger, you set it to auto, and this is another problem with, if I'm honest, another problem with VCMM is that sometimes when you start messing with these settings over here, you will lose your signal. Even though it was still set auto, it was set to 1.7, you still kind of lose, it forgets itself or something like that happens. Anyways, so just a little demo on how VCMM works. You can set some cursors up if you want to be looking at, say, a pattern right in between something, and give you some measurements of what's happening in between there. But yeah, that's it. That's VCMM. Hope this was kind of useful, kind of helpful, kind of cool. We are going to be playing with it a lot more in the lab, but just a little demo. I'm going to do some other demos of some more things that you can do with VCMM as well. So stick around, and hopefully those will be equally as enlightening. All right, thank you, and goodbye.